Terms and words. When you're reading literature, you will encounter different styles, conventions, structures, and meanings, tones, and pacing in the text. And all this helps to interpret the literature. Pay particular attention to whether a novel, short story, or a poem is trying to entertain you, or to present a problem or thesis, or to present you with a historical background. Some novels, they start off by giving you a historical background. Like in my novel Abandoned to Mac the Island, I start off with the history of James Cook. I start off with the island, that it's isolated in the Pacific, and that there might be natives there. The rumor of it was that there are cannibals there on the island. It was an abandoned little island, and that the two people, principal characters, a female violinist who was psychic and an ex-preacher who had given up on God, they were abandoned to this island. Okay, so it starts off with the historical background of shipping, islands, sailors, the native people, and so forth. Some novels just strike you right as entertainment. And they get right off from the bat. This is going to be some kind of humorous story or funny story, and you're just going to be entertained. Not that you can't learn anything. Other novels, short stories, and poems start off with a particular problem or thesis. And most of the times you will see this obviously in science fiction. And this is easily picked up in when you watch a movie, like in the Terminator series, it always starts off with, these bad things is messed up, something's wrong, everything's got to be fixed. I mean, in her exotic billionaire cruise, you have a female billionaire. She's 40 years old, very attractive. She hasn't hit the wall yet. She's single, and her problem is she's looking for a guy, a date. She doesn't care whether he's older or younger. He has just got to be able to satisfy her body. So that's like a problem. Okay. But when you're reading literature, ask yourself questions about the terms listed. Where has the style changed? Where has the tone and pacing changed? What are the key motifs? What is the effect of these archetypes on the novel, poem, or short story? Keep track of words that give you trouble. These may be keywords, special words the author uses to convey meaning. So you definitely want to be able to, if you can't understand it, you may want to have a dictionary handy. Are these troubling words transition words? Transition words are words that are letting you know you're moving to a new time, you're moving to a new place, you're moving to a new stage of an argument or a new stage in the love affair. Why do these words appear at just this place? Are these troubling words merged with other familiar words in the text? Because authors make decisions consciously and unconsciously about where to place particulars in their novels. Your task is to find out why. Note emotive words that only convey facts, knowledge, or concrete reality. Paper, screen, disc, tire, skirt, purse. Note abstract, emotive words like love versus concrete emotive words like sex. So one word describes exactly what the object is, and it gives you nothing else but that. Other words give you an emotional twist to its meaning. So there are certain words that are more open to various interpretations of what a word means. But a word that's concrete is not going to vary. A piece of paper cannot become a tire. If you make a paper mache little mobile car that a kid rushes or plays or rolls across his desk, yes, that's true. But in no situation is the paper ever going to be a tire. A skirt is never going to be a purse. So those are the basic two types of words. In poetry, this is very important because a poet has to use a combination concrete words that are immediately accessible and abstract words that give expanded meaning. What turning points occur as a result of concrete, abstract, or figurative, and they mean metaphors or similes here when they're saying figurative. Life is a red rose. That's going to be a simile. Okay? If you're saying that this person, that's a machine person, What they're meaning by machine. Person is that, as a metaphor, it means that that person is efficient, effective, consistent, and they're constantly doing the same thing. They're getting stuff done. They're a machine. Okay. So what points occur as a result of concrete, abstract, or figurative words? Why? Motifs and keywords pack important moments. If you can understand these and how they are used, your understanding of the text will increase dramatically. What 5 motifs and 3 words stand out in your reading? Tone and pacing can also give you an important understanding of what words are important and what passages are important. If someone summarizes, okay, this person they went to the mall and then they picked up their book, or they bought the diamond ring, and then they came home. That particular summarized section is not really important. And you could have them driving home thinking about the ring. Let's say it's a guy, he's thinking about the ring. Or it could be a girl, she's thinking about the ring. She's going to give it to her boyfriend. And this process is taking a long time. The pacing is slow, it's stretched out. You're in this character's head a little bit. Then when the person gets home, everything speeds up. There's lots of dialogue. There's a lot of interaction. They're hugging and kissing. He or she presents the ring, so forth. And then the pacing speeds up. So tone, the pacing, whether it's fast or slow, can tell you a lot about the text. Observe diction, word use, and word order. This is very important for poetry. These small details are windows into the work's motif, imagery, themes, and conflicts. When you think about these words and word order, just imagine that particular word is on that door, or that particular phrase is on that door. And it's like, if you go through that door with those words, for example, let's say it is, they say thick forest. Now, if you're going through a door that says thick forest, you're going to have a different interpretation of what's going to happen next than if you go to a door that says sunny beach. And a lot of this is going to happen very naturally. You do some of these things all the time. You're just not necessarily aware of it. In terms of observing the diction, word use, and word order, is the language high, upper class, educated, or low, everyday, intelligent, or is it intelligent or ethnic? An example of high language would be literary. They're going to be using educated words, college educated words, words that you don't necessarily use in your everyday speech. The most accessible and best-selling fiction is the popular fiction. It's everyday word use, everyday terms. You're not going to necessarily have to go to a dictionary to find out what the word means. Quick and easy, accessible words so you can move to the next sentence and the next sentence and the next sentence and go on and consume the novel, short story, or poem. There's a reason why the literary people are using different, harder terms or more particular terms. Some of these terms you would see in nonfiction papers or symposium papers and things like that. Now, there's such a thing as words that sound more intelligent and words that sound more ethnic. Let's say you have a person whose English is a second language, so they write very well in English, let's say, but because they come from a different country, the words are going to have a different kind of slant or meaning. They're going to have a different kind of flavor to them. Sometimes they may even throw in an ethnic word, like a Spanish word or Chinese word or Russian word. You have to pay attention to these, and these can make your reading more enjoyable. Now, can this character really speak in such language? So let's say you have a character, she works at a mall, and she's basically throwing out Chinese terms. Or she's throwing out terms that are like Polynesian. Maybe she took a trip there. Maybe she was born there. I mean, we don't know. But that would clue you in that something is different about this character. You may ask yourself this question, can this character really speak such a language? I mean, if you have a prostitute that's using psychology and psychiatry words, and psychiatry is not a science, but people can repeat words that they have heard. You may ask us, how is this prostitute using these terms? Maybe she's going to a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Or maybe her last boyfriend or her last client was a psychologist or a psychiatrist, or they had a book there. Who knows? What effect does it have on the character's story, these words and word order? What effect on you? Count and underline the symbols that appear. Circles, cars, rivers, castles, fountains, animals, mirrors, foods, and dreams. Anything can be a symbol if it is widely used. The Great Gatsby, one of the symbols is this billboard where this man has got these spectacles on and he's looking out over this particular part of a street corner. It's a very important junction on the street in the novel, the novella of The Great Gatsby, and some of the minor characters they would have a job right there at that point of the billboard. But the billboard is looking out over the characters, and characters are constantly driving by the billboard. So that billboard and the guy in the glasses is a symbol of what is happening in The Great Gatsby. How many times was the word used? Did these words occur sequentially? Are these symbols creating a tone in the novel? In The Great Gatsby, what you have is these spectacles, these eyeglasses, give an ominous tone to the novella. Use a dictionary when you read. Familiarize yourself with unknown words, because words have internal power which is released in your reading. Discover the meaning of these unfamiliar words. One way to do this is to read the entire sentence. You may want to read it twice. Sentence context can make a big difference in discovering the word's meaning. So before you reach for the dictionary, read the sentence once or twice. Okay, if you still can't get it, then go to the dictionary, look it up, see what it means, read the sentence again, see if you got it. Why couldn't a similar word be used, you should ask yourself. Why couldn't this word have just been omitted? What effect does this unfamiliar word have on the novel's theme? What effect does the unfamiliar word have on the novel's plot, tone, setting? When you're reading the novel, short story, or poetry, you need to ask yourself these questions about these words, because they will clue you in as to what is happening, and you can get a deeper meaning and enrichment from the text. Is the unfamiliar word explained in the text itself? Like a lot of times, you will read the sentence once, you don't get it, twice, you don't get it, and let's say that dictionary is not handy, you keep reading on, and then a couple paragraphs later, the whole thing becomes clear what the word means. Because as you read on, certain things are going to be eliminated as to what you may have thought the word means. So let's say you have a confusing word, and you think it can mean 5 things or 6 things. As you read on, you say, well, it doesn't mean number 6, doesn't mean number 5, doesn't mean number 3. By the time you get to the end of the second paragraph, you're like, okay, it can only mean number 1. Then you go to the dictionary, you find out you're pretty much right. So this is the end of Terms and Words in Reading a Book by Cupiderosbooks. And thanks for listening.